everyone, my name is Maddie, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where I'm going to be introducing the new game I will be playing in 2022, Book Buying Ban Bingo. So, this is new. This is my Book Buying Ban Bingo board. You will be slightly familiar with Dart Attack, which will crop up later, but this is my new game I'll be playing in 2022. So in this video, I'm going to be introducing the concept of Book Buying Ban Bingo, telling you all of the rules and all of that, getting this board set up, because you'll notice it has no prompts on it at the moment, and then the plan is we'll be checking in every 2 months. So this is going to be interspersed with Dart Attack throughout the month, so at the end of January, I'll do my Dart Attack TBR for February and March. End of February, I'll do my wrap up and update of this for the first 2 months of the year, and then we'll alternate going forwards. So you'll see this every 2 months and you'll see Dart Attack every 2 months. So that's roughly how the games are going to work. But Book Buying Ban Bingo, what is it? Why am I doing it? Let's get started. I am someone who buys quite a lot of books. I read quite a lot, I buy quite a lot. And that's fine by me. I don't have much of a problem with it. I've considered going on book buying bans many a time, but I just know they won't work for me. I get a lot of enjoyment out of buying books. I am one of those that slightly adheres to the logic of buying books and reading books are two different hobbies. And I do just love buying books. It gives me a good, serotonin rush. It's good fun. And especially when I'm in a bit of a reading slump, I would hate to completely stop myself buying books because it will just make me sad and I will miss it. And also, I'm a slight believer in if you completely ban yourself from doing something, you're only going to want to do it more. So instead of completely banning myself from buying books, I am instead making it a game about when I'm allowed to buy books. In 2021, I bought quite a lot of books myself and was also incredibly lucky because I had my wish list open that I acquired a load of books from you guys and from publishers and all over. But as a result of this, my already excessive TBR got even bigger. My rule for the last few years has been I need to get less books in than I am reading. I am not someone at all that wants to get my TBR down to 30 books. My TBR is hundreds of books and I am perfectly content with that. I love having the choice. I love having loads of options when I go to pick a book. That to me is a really comfortable position. However, I don't want it getting bigger. Partially because last year it did actually start to get stressful because I was getting these books in that I was excited for and I just knew realistically it would be years until I got to the vast majority of them, and occasionally if I get a book and know I won't get to it for years, fine, so be it. But for every single book I'm getting, it starts to get a little stressful. And the other reason for me is storage space. I live in a 1-bed flat. I only have less than half of my books in this flat, the rest are at my parents' house. And there's a very good chance in the next year or two I will move to an even smaller place because I want to move to a more expensive city. And so I don't have space to have thousands and thousands and thousands of books, but I don't want to just unhaul them all. I like keeping them. I dream one day of having a full library and having all the books. So I'm determined to keep hold of as many as I can. But it does mean my TBR can't be getting any bigger than it already is. So my motivation for doing this isn't money, it isn't that I feel guilty buying books, it's literally just storage space and trying to limit how many I'm buying a little bit instead of stopping myself completely. I'm also very much planning to use this as a training tool of being more conscious when I buy books. I am fantastic at hearing about a book on Twitter, going to Amazon, buying it, it arrives the next day. Impulse buying is my thing. And I just want to get to a point where I'm more conscious and doing less of that, because the problem is it adds up without me even noticing. So I had so many months in 2021 where I was like, you know what? I don't think I've got many books at all. And then I'd go and collect them all and I had about 20, which I'd just been kind of unaware that I'd got so many. So that's what I want to stop. I want to get more conscious and more intentional with the books I'm buying. So the way I've decided to do this is Book Buying Ban Bingo. Very simple concept. I am going to put 24 prompts on this board as it is a 5x5 grid, but we have a free space in the middle to make my life a little bit easier. And I'm going to use Dart Attack to pick which prompts go up so I don't get to make myself an easy line. I've lost them now, but I have a whole stack of prompts. They're going to be stuck on Dart Attack. I'll throw Dart Attack to fill up these prompts. Then every time I read a book, if it completes one of the prompts, which hopefully it will, I will get one of these little symbols and get to cover up whichever prompt I have completed, eventually getting myself a bingo. I am classing bingos as a horizontal line, a vertical line, or a central diagonal line. Any of those three are bingos. When I get a bingo, I will get a token, which means I can buy a book. I do not have to use it then and there. I can save them up for as long as I want. I also have down here where you can't see these little moon tokens. These I get for every 10 books I've read. So if I read 10 books between say January and February, then I'll get one bonus token. And that just means if I read 50 books throughout the year, there are 5 books I'm allowed to buy. That's just quite nice as a little bonus for reading lots. So that's the very basic premise. Once I've got a bingo, all of the prompts in that bingo will be replaced, but that will happen in like the 2 monthly updates. So I won't be rolling those updates as I go. So I may well get sort of 3 bingos in 1 month and then update and clear all of those at the end of the 2-month stint when I'm checking back in with you. So it's a pretty simple system. Hopefully that made sense. I will just quickly say, this is an idea I came up with myself, but I'm not kidding myself. Bingo for lots of bookish things is very common. People use it for readathons. I know Shanice Noel uses it as a TBR game, which I adore so much. I'm so glad she's just brought it back this month. So bingo is not remotely original for bookish stuff. Book buying bans are not remotely original for bookish stuff. So I'm not remotely expecting that someone hasn't done this before. They probably have. If you have, congrats to you. Obviously I like the idea, but I did come up with this myself. I'm not gonna like credit someone as the inspiration because there wasn't one, but I'm also not kidding myself. I would put money on someone probably having done a very similar, if not the same thing. I know one similar thing I've seen, which my mum showed me after I told her about this, was Drinking by My Shelf has done Book Trail, I think it is, where she basically has to like complete a load of things and then at the end gets a book shopping spree. So again, lots of people have gamified their book buying or book buying bans or played bingo for all sorts of things. It's not that original. Nonetheless, this is my version of it. This is what we're doing. So hopefully that all makes sense to you. As I said, it's a pretty simple concept. Today, the main thing we're going to be doing is setting it up. I'm going to be throwing a load of dart attack throws, which I will do super speedy to get this filled up. But before we do that, I do have a couple things to run through, which is exceptions. Now, as I said, my overall goal here is not to add wildly to my TBR. That's why I'm doing this. My kind of goal for the year is to bring in less books than I'm reading. The goal I have in the back of my mind is 50 to 60%. So say I read 100 books this year, which is about average for me, then I'd be acquiring less than 50 books. Note that I normally get about 10 books for my birthday and 10 books for Christmas. That only leaves me about 30 that I can get for the rest of the year, which is 2 or 3 a month. That sits quite comfortably with me, but that is going to require some self-restraint. However, I am putting a few exceptions in place for even if I don't have a token, I will still be allowed to buy the book. And that's because I'm not trying to add wildly to my TBR, but there are certain books I will be buying, whatever happens, and I don't want to waste a token on them necessarily. If I have a token available, I will use it. Like, I'm not gonna do a stupid thing, but it's very possible that I'll only earn 1, maybe 2 tokens a month maximum. And that will not even, or maybe will just cover the books I already know I'm buying this year. And you know, sometimes I want to be able to just buy a book I come across or order a 2022 release. So we have 5 types of exception, which I'm going to run through now. The first is auto-buy/favorite authors. The list of authors I have for this is quite long, but as far as I'm aware, the majority of them are not coming out with books this year, or they're coming out with books which also fall into a second exception category, so it shouldn't be too many. These authors for me are Alex Harrow, Erin Morgenstern, Laini Taylor, TJ Klune, V.E. Schwab, Shauna Maguire, Samantha Shannon, and Jennifer Duggan. So Alex Harrow does have 1 book coming out this year. She has A Mirror Mended, which is a sequel to A Spindle Splintered, which counts as another exception we'll get to in a minute. Erin Morgenstern and Laini Taylor don't have books coming out this year as far as I'm aware. If they do, fantastic, but I've definitely not seen any announcements yet. TJ Klune, I think, has 2 books coming out that I'll be getting. One is the 3rd book in the Extraordinary series, and the other is the last book in the Happiness trilogy, so The House in Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door. I think the 3rd book in that will be coming out this year. It could be later, but I've heard rumours of that, so again, they're continuations of kind of trilogies, though the Happiness trilogy isn't like a continuous story, it's just 3 related books. V.E. Schwab, as far as I'm aware, only has Gallant coming out this year. Gallant, I truly do not know, but I do actually already have that pre-ordered, which is another exception rule we'll get to. Shauna Maguire has 2 books this year I'll be getting, which is the 6th book in the Wayward Children series, Where the Drowned Girls Go. It's one of my favourite series of all time, I'm up to date with it, so it also fits that. And then Seasonal Fears, which is the sequel to Middle Game, again, fits my series rule. And then Samantha Shannon, again, don't think she has any books coming out this year, so shouldn't be an issue. If one is suddenly announced, I will probably get it. And then Jennifer Duggan has Melt With You, which is just a standalone, but it's her 4th book. I've loved all 3, so I'm going to be getting that. So that is exception number 1. If any of those books from those authors or any other books from those authors come out and I just don't have a token ready, then I'm allowed to get it anyway. I'm not including backlist for these authors. So for example, TJ Klune has loads of other books he's written. If I want to get those, I have to use tokens. It's just for new ones of like series I'm already invested in. And then that moves very nicely into my second exception, which is I'm allowed to buy follow-up books in series that I am up to date with. So simple example for this is the Extraordinary series by TJ Klune. I've read the first 2 books, the third one's coming out this year. I'm allowed to buy the third book. This also applies to backlist series. If there is a series which I have read, you know, for example, the Wayfarer series, I own 3 of those books currently. If I was to read all 3 and I'm loving the series and want to continue, I will let myself buy the 4th book. Again, I will try to use a token if there is one available, but there is no point preventing myself from finishing a series for the sake of this game. Like, there's no point me stopping a series in the middle if I want to actively continue it, which is rare because of a game. So hopefully you understand that logic. Again, pretty simple. The only kind of semi-exception which ties in with another one about special editions is if I'm not up to date with the series, but I have to buy it to ensure that I have matching editions. Again, then I'll really try to use a token because that's my own stupidity. But I do often try and make sure like I have all hardbacks for a series, meaning you have to buy them pretty soon after they come out. But I also often want to wait for the whole series to be out so I can read it all at once. So I do have to buy them when I'm not up to date, but we'll be sensible. I'll try and use tokens. I'm not going to be, you know, pushing the limits of this game. I'm just allowing myself a bit of freedom so I'm not missing out on things. Which ties in extremely well with the third exception, which is special editions and special edition sets. This is things from like Illumicrate, Fairy Loot, things like that. I am not going to see a sale for one of my favorite series and be like, I have no tokens right now, I'm not gonna get it, and then it sell out and me never get it. Why would I do that? Like, that makes no sense for me. So I'm going to let myself get special edition sets. Again, I will try and use the tokens. I am saying 1 token equals 1 special edition set, just because like it works better for me. I don't want to be like buying a trilogy and have to use 3 tokens at once, because that kind of doesn't compute in my mind for some reason. Only with like special edition sets though, not general books. So again, I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to actually try and limit how many special edition sets I'm getting, because I got a lot in 2021, but I am allowed to do it. And very similarly to that, my 4th exception is I am a book collector. So multiple editions of books I've already read, that's fine. My goal for this is to not increase my TBR. I'm not too worried about money. I'm not too worried about like having gorgeous editions of my favorite books. So if I see a gorgeous edition of any of my favorite books, I'm allowed to buy it. That's completely fine. That doesn't have to use a token at all because it's not adding to my TBR. This is more about TBR leveling than anything else, so that's fine. Like, I collect editions of Strange the Dreamer, that whole series, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, that whole series, Starless Sea and Night Circus, Once and Future Witches, 10,000 Doors of January. Like, I have a lot of books I collect editions of, and I'm not going to stop doing that. I say this knowing I have an edition of Strange the Dreamer on the way to me right now. Like, that's not gonna stop, so you know. And then the final like official exception is day trips and holidays. I not regularly but not irregularly do like a day trip to London, and part of that is I often go book shopping. I go to Foyles and Waterstones and Gaze the Word and loads of places. And as I said, I'm using this as a training tool to stop myself impulse buying, so I'm absolutely going to be keeping it in mind throughout that. If I know I'm going on a trip, I'll try and accumulate a few tokens in advance to keep myself in check. But I'm also, again, not going to torture myself. If I want to have a fun book shopping day with my mum, I'm gonna go have a fun book shopping day and buy the books I want to get and have fun with it, and also support independent bookstores. Like when I went to Edinburgh last year, I went to all the independent bookstores and want to buy books in each of them to support them. Like, that is still a thing, so I'm not gonna completely limit myself. So it sounds like there's a whole load of exceptions, and there are quite a few, but hopefully it makes sense to you that this is about training myself to not impulse buy, being conscious about what I'm buying, and basically just not being stupid and buying everything I see that looks kind of pretty and then ending up with like 1,000 books on my TBR that'll take me 10 years to get through, because I will have grown out of most of those books by the time I get to them. So there's no point doing that. So overall, I will be using tokens for everything. I'll be using the tokens for as many of those exceptions as I can, but favorite authors, series I'm up to date with, special editions, multiples of books I've read, and day trips, are technically exceptions. And also these videos every 2 months are also going to function as my hauls going forward, so I will tell you if there have been any exceptions. You will see that in upcoming videos when I kind of go through like, I've earned this many tokens and I've used this many tokens, so here's where we're at. I'll also talk through any books I've got which I've used an exception for. So hopefully that all makes sense. The only thing I've missed off is any outstanding pre-orders that I've already made don't count. As far as I'm aware, I only have 2, which is Gallant by V. Schwab, the Waterstones edition, and Atlas 6 Waterstone edition. I think those are the only 2 pre-orders I have, so I'm not too fussed about that anyway, but if there are any others I've forgotten about, they don't count when they suddenly arrive, because that's not fair at all. So, hopefully that makes sense. I really, really hope that makes sense. I think it makes sense. Overall, it's a pretty simple concept. I get a bingo, I'm allowed to buy a book whenever I want to buy a book. There will be many books I want to buy. It's a good way of sorting myself out, limiting myself. The only final thing is the one rule that's up in the air. Is currently each book will only be able to cover 1 prompt unless like some of the prompts on here are going to be challenges. So like read every day for a week. If I've read every day for a week, any books to complete that week get to tick off a prompt, and then I also get to tick off that I read every day for a week. Like I don't have to take all 3 of those books to count for that, if that makes sense. So currently each book can tick off 1 prompt. If at the end of the first 2 months, I've only managed to accumulate like 1 token, then yeah, I'll change it so that they can like double up and they can't tick off 2 in the same line, but they can tick off 2 on the board. But I'm hoping that it only needs to do 1 each. I think that should work out vaguely okay. But yeah, I'm really excited to do this. It works really well for me because I won't be doing Dart Attack every month because it's a little bit too stressful me picking out like 6 prompts every month that I have to fulfill. So this works really nicely because I love having prompts. I love having a TBR game. So this basically functions for me like an ongoing reading challenge, but I get to choose which prompts I'm trying to fulfill. And if I just want to mood read a book, I'll mood read a book and then look at the board after and see if it can tick anything off. Like Dart Attack does slightly limit what I can read, which is good. It gives me direction. This is a really nice, much more chill way when I don't have any Dart Attack prompts outstanding that I can like help myself choose what I'm reading next and possibly like, you know, aim for a certain bingo or whatever, but not stress myself out. And also, obviously, if a book completes a Dart Attack prompt, it can still complete 1 of those. I'm hoping that was evident. Okay, I've been talking for entirely too long, so I am now going to fill up this board with prompts. So we're gonna go get Dart Attack. It already has 10 of the prompts that fit on here around it, and I am really rapid fire gonna do 24 throws to pick out these prompts. Normally, when I refill them every month, I'll do it like I do Dart Attack and like show you which prompt's going on the board, and all of that, and do it really cute because I'll only be doing like a maximum of probably 10. Today, I'm doing 24, so we're literally rapid firing through it. Then I'll show you all on the board, explain any that need explaining, and that's the setup until 2 months from now when I'll check back in with all the books I've read so far and we'll see how it's going. Okay, here we go, rapid fire, 24 throws to pick out the first 24 prompts to go on this board. Let's start with throw number 1. Purple. Purple is buzzword. Okay, throw number 2. Yellow. Yellow is 2021 release. Throw number 3. Dark blue. Dark blue is read every day for a week. With the proximity to the bullseye there, I just realised that I haven't explained the bullseye means absolutely nothing. I'm literally just gonna like look at what line it's in and assign it the relevant colour. So throw number, I knew I'd lose count, 4, I think? Light orange. Light orange is 5-star prediction correct. Okay, throw number 5 is yellow again. Yellow is read a book in a day. Moving on to throw number 6. Purple again. I'm really drawn to certain colours. Purple is middle grade. Throw number 7. Dark green, I think. Dark green is subgenre not read in the last 5. Okay, throw number 8. Dark orange. Dark orange is dystopian. Throw number 9. Oh, that's so nearly missed. That's so nearly missed. Okay, throw number 9. Dark blue. Read a book in one sitting. Throw number 10. We're getting there. Dark green. Blank colour on the cover. So I'm going to throw now to find out what colour that will be. Okay, for colour on the cover, it is going to be red, dark red. Okay, throw number 11. Light green. Light green is hardback. Right, throw 12. Missed, try again. Throw 12, take 2. Yellow, I think, just. 2 videos from fave creators. Throw 13. Dark orange. On a previous TBR. Throw 14 is going to be light green again. Light green is pick a book seen on Goodreads. Throw 15, maybe? Something like that. Light blue. Light blue is continue a series. Throw 16, light orange. Light orange is keep journal up to date. Throw 17 is going to be purple. Purple is paperback. Throw 18, I'm not convinced by my counting, but throw 18 maybe is going to be pink. Pink is read a book the same month as hauled. Okay, throw 19, dark orange. Finish a Dart Attack TBR. Throw 20 is going to be dark green, I think. Dark green is pick a book seen on Instagram. Throw 21, we're almost done now. Missed again, try again. Throw 21, take 2. Light green. Light green is YA. Just noticed I never replaced the dark green I hit, so I've replaced both now. Throw 22. That's in the region of pink. Pink is adult. Throw 23, so nearly there now. Light blue and an awful throw. Light blue is fantasy. Okay, I believe this is the last throw, though I'll count once I've done it in check, but throw 24. Red. The and of Anne. Okay, that is the 24 prompts. I am off camera going to go put them all on the board, and then I will come back to you and we will run through what the board is looking like for the first 2 months. Okay, here is the filled in board. Hopefully you can pretty much see this. If a bit's cut off, I'll read it out. So first up here we have, you can't see my hand, up here we have buzzword. This is very simple. Books and Lala, Kayla does the buzzword reading challenge, where there's a buzzword each month. Basically, whichever month I want to complete this in, I have to make sure I read a book with that buzzword in the title. I don't know what the January one or the February one are. I'll look them up and make sure I do one of them, hopefully, if I want to go for that prompt. Next up, we have 2021 release. Very self-explanatory. Next, read every day for a week. Very self-explanatory. Next is 5-star prediction correct. So this is a little bit of fun. I do have a prompt somewhere in the stack, which is just 5-star prediction. Read a book you think is going to be 5 stars, fine. But this I have to be right about. So once I finish the book, I have to have given it 5 stars. Then I can take this one off. Read a book in a day, very self-explanatory. Middle grade, self-explanatory. Subgenre not read in last 5. So that doesn't make much sense because there wasn't enough space on the card. Basically, I have to read a book from a different genre to what my last 5 books were. I've said subgenre because I only really read kind of fantasy, dystopian and romance, and so it's very difficult for 5 books in a row me to have read not one of those. So it can be a bit lower scale than that. So if I read, say, a contemporary romance, I could get away with doing a historical romance for this. That kind of thing. So it doesn't need to be like a completely different genre. It just needs to be like quite a different vibe. So if I've done like fantasy and dystopian, maybe like a space set sci-fi, that's quite different, is what that means. Dystopian, easy. Read a book in one sitting, easy. Dark red on the cover, simple. Hardback, fine. 2 videos from favourite creators. This means in the next 2 months, if I want to complete it, I'm going to do basically any of these that don't have a time setting. They're going to be within the next 2 months. So 2 videos from favourite creators. I've not listed my favourite creators here because the list does change, but I'm going to pick like 6 or 7 of my favourite creators and make sure within the next 2 months I watch at least 2 videos from each of them. One of my yearly goals, which you can watch all my yearly goals in the video I'll link, but one of my yearly goals is to watch and support BookTube more, so that is why that is there. Next up, on a previous TBR. This is any book I've had on a TBR before. I will go back through my videos, find a book and read one of them. Pick a book seen on Goodreads. Normally the way this works for people is you scroll through Goodreads, the first book you see that you own is the one you have to read. I think what I'm gonna do is set myself a 5-minute timer, write down kind of all the books I see that are ones that I own, and then pick from there. So I'm not as limited, but again, like, should have a pretty limited selection of books to read. Continue a series, easy. Keep my journaling up to date. Another one of my goals this year is to journal. More specifically, my bookish journal I'm referring to here, though I would also like to keep my personal journal up to date. This is literally just within the next 2 months. Am I fully up to date by the time I next come to film this video? And it doesn't count if I updated it the day before the video is filmed for the sake of ticking it off, but am I generally keeping it up to date? Great, get that point. Paperback, easy. Read a book the same month as hauled. Pretty simple concept. If I get a book in the middle of January, I have to read it by the end of January. It's just a good way to keep me accountable for reading books within a timely manner of getting them. Finish a Dart Attack TBR, so this is specific to this year. So at the end of January, I'll be doing my first Dart Attack TBR of the year, which will give me 6 prompts. If within the next 2 months after that, I finish all 6 of those prompts, I get to tick that off. Pick a book seen on Instagram. Exact same principle as Goodreads. I'll scroll for 5 minutes, write down any books that I own. I'll get to pick from those. I may be slightly more limited because often you see like book stack photos, so I may see a lot of books, so I might give myself less time, but I'll try and error it until it's a system that works, where it's like a reasonably limited choice, but not stupid. YA, obvious. Adult, obvious. Funny they came up next to each other. Fantasy, obvious. The, and, of, an. Very simple. Title has to have any of those words in it. So, I actually have already finished one book this month. I finished The Song Rising this morning by Samantha Shannon. So for a bit of fun, I'm gonna pick one of these that it fits and tick off my first bingo. Normally I would wait for, you know, the wrap up in 2 months, but it's fun, I want to. So what does it fit? It fits paperback, it fits adult, it fits this one, the whatever, it fits continuous series, it fits dystopian, and I think that's all it fits. Ooh, what do we go for? I'm tempted to go for dystopian, because I think that's probably, other than the other ones in this series, that's going to be the hardest to cross off. So there we go. First bingo ticked off, first little prompt. And that is it for this video. That is the board, it is set up. You will see me again, God, when will it be? End of February will be when we'll do the 2-month check-in and see how many books I've crossed off, how many tokens I've earned, and how many tokens I may have already spent. So I'll see you then. I will be premiering that video just like I did this one. And I hope you are as excited as I am for book browsing blogs, book buying ban bingo. Yes, that is 7 Bs in a row. It makes me exceedingly happy. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the concept. If you did and you want to do any of this with me, feel free to use this bingo board or create your own and like let me know if you're doing it. I would love to know if other people are going to do this sort of thing. I thought it'd be a bit of fun to kick off the new year. But that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. All of my links to my social media are in the description if you want to check them out. But that is it for this very exciting video. So bye, and I'll see you in the next one.